So I've used a lot of Leica lenses years and years ago, mostly on film. I'm pretty familiar with them, at least I like to think so. But, you know, you hear all this stuff about Leica makes the best lenses ever, and it's kind of true. You know, that's not BS. I do kind of see this lens as the Leica killer, the Summicron killer. Obviously, I've opened this up already, and I've shot it for a couple of weeks now for about a third of the price of a Leica lens. You're getting something that's, from what I've seen, is equally as good. I mean, and that's really it. We got the desiccant, most important thing, always save those. It's a fairly small lens. Put a UV filter on it because the front element on this lens is pretty bulbous. Do yourself a favor, just put a UV filter on it, especially if you can get one that has like 99.99 or whatever percent light transmission. I'm sure this one does not. How much does it exceed the quality of a Voigtlander 35mm? I use Voigtlander a lot. This is a 28 Voigtlander f2 Ultron. I love that lens. Vignettes like crazy when it's wide open. This one, it definitely vignettes, but you can, in Lightroom, once you apply the corrections, it's like near perfect. I recently got this. I just broke down and I had to get it because I just love the M series. I'm pretty much all in on the M bodies, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be it from now on. The M9, I find that you have to be just a little bit more careful than most other more recent M bodies. It just feels like maybe it's a touch more sensitive. These M9s are only going to get more and more rare by the day. Pretty good looking, I think. Of course, as is tradition, I've covered up the M9 and the Leica logo. So it's a little bit bigger. I haven't looked up the official specs, but like right off the bat, you can tell if you've shot the original 35 f2. The other difference is that instead of that little focusing indent where you can kind of put your finger in the middle, so there's two of these little notches on a Summicron. I think everyone knows that. But there's just like a little nub here. That little nub, there it is. Now you can see it. This guy right here, that's not a lot of fun to use. But I mostly, I just go ahead and I grab it when I focus it from here, and the focus throw on this is like buttery smooth. It's short, and it's very easy to use. You don't really miss that little, it's almost like a bracket that you stick your finger into, and you can just flick the whole range of the focus this way. The aperture on this is one of the snappiest apertures I've ever used. I haven't actually used the newest of the new Summicrons. I've used mostly the film ones, and they've been used and abused over the years, so I'm not sure if this is just because this lens is new. Let's get to the actual quality of the picture you get out of this. I don't think it's as contrasty as the actual Summicrons. I think it might be slightly less. A lot of this is just based on experience. And so it behaves a lot like these L39 old school Leica lenses, although this is a Canon 1.8. And I got this because it's a 50mm. It's pretty fast. 1.8, you know, by today's standards, maybe not so much, but absolutely tiny. Can you imagine that today? So it's kind of like focusing an L39 lens, and which I've used before plenty, so it's nothing that I need to get used to. Don't like this blue dot. I hate it. It just sticks out. I know Zeiss's color is blue, that's fine, but it's a little annoying. So really no differences between this and the f2 Summicron, and if you're a JPEG shooter, you can just apply the pre-aspherical Summicron 3502 in-camera profile and just do the lens selection manually, and it works out just fine. Another note, it's not the lens, but it's the M9. There's something about the highlights. I think it clips them a little early compared to most other cameras. In fact, I definitely feel that way, but that's for the next video. It's sharp wide open. It's f2, so you get plenty of light. In terms of sharpness, in terms of the rendering, those things being subjective, there's zero compromise here compared to an actual Summicron. Maybe a little bit, you know, the build quality, but the build quality of the Voigtlander and the Zeiss, there's a little bit of a gap there. Okay, there's not a little bit of a gap there. There's a noticeable gap between how the focusing ring works, how snappy the aperture is. There's a difference in quality. There's also a difference in price, but then there's also a difference in price between the Zeiss, the Summicron, and Leica Summicron. This is far beyond what you get from Voigtlanders. It's right up there. And I'm no longer planning on getting a 35 f2 Summicron. And I think that's the biggest compliment you can give a lens when you're comparing it to a Leica. This is not really an alternative to the Summicron. This is every bit as good. I might change my tune in the future, but who knows? But so far, every bit as good. Save your money, get this lens. So I'm going to be making a bunch more videos in the future using the M9, the 35 f2, the 51.8, and the Voigtlander 28 f2 Ultron here. These guys just all work really well together. You can't beat Leica at their own game, but oh my god, in this case, yeah, I think Zeiss might have maybe not beaten them, but they're right up there. So a lot of videos coming up featuring these three lenses, and I hope people stick around and watch. I'm just being kind of slow with it because things have been a little crazy lately, but I've got stuff shot. I just need to edit it, and follow me on Instagram. Peace.